Hello there, folks. How you doing? Hope you're all keeping well. My name is Anthony Kogan, and tonight we are joined not by one but two paranormal teams. We are joined by Paranormal Adventures Ireland and also Phoenix Files. Subjects for tonight include the Grim Reaper, ooh, also Lady Harriet of Charleville Castle, County Offaly, Ireland, and then finally the Irish Para Unity meeting. How you doing, Samantha? How you doing, Shelley and Caoimhe? All good?
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
good. Oh, good. So if you have any questions for Shelley, Caoimhe, or Samantha, feel free to put them on this live stream. You can also go to our website, www.ghostére.net, go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a personal message, just put in brackets private message. If you're affiliated with any paranormal group or tourist organization, feel free to name the team and the organization tourist attraction, and we will give a shout out to you. We're coming live here through Facebook, but also through our uh, website, the GhostÉire Channel. If you go to www.ghostére.net, go on the homepage, you'll see a red button called the GhostÉire Channel. Just click on that. That will bring you to the live stream. You can also see past shows and see what is coming up in the future from there. We also have a competition tonight, folks, called Astral Travel, where you have a chance to put your name into the Halloween mega draw and also win some cash. But to do so, you have to comment on tonight's live feed via Facebook. Um, so that's about it, there, folks. We've got to go straight on to the first topic. Mary Nolan says, "Hi, hi, Mary Nolan. Hi, sis. How you doing? Hi from Back in Time Paranormal Adventures. How you doing, sis? Hope you're keeping well there. Um, and good, wishing you luck there with the new moving into the new house there. So I'm going to talk about the Grim Reaper first. Quiver, can you tell us what is the Grim Reaper?
So the Grim Reaper is a depiction of death.
Can you hear me,
Um,
Quiver?
he. Oh yeah, can you hear me? Perfect. The Grim Reaper is a depiction of death. He is
Perfect.
said to basically go and help souls go to the afterlife. He is seen like in his hooded cloak. He is seen with his scythe as a skeleton, and he's also been seen as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So that's like a lot of what he is seen of in culture and pop culture.
Okay. Can you tell us, has there been any influence in like culture with the Grim Reaper? Has he been appeared in art or music or festivals? Is there festivals associated with him?
So in our own, like in Ireland, there's obviously the Puka Festival. So there's a lot of depictions of the Grim Reaper and different um, things that are involved with being the Grim Reaper depicted in different festivals all around Ireland. As well as that, like if you even look into like pop culture, so you know the anime Death Note. So in Japan, their version of the Grim Reaper is the Shinigami,
Hmm.
and in the Death Note, basically
Okay.
the Shinigami comes and they write names into the book who they want to die, and this person, this thing, is supposed to take these souls and make sure that they die at a certain time and place and bring them to
All
the
right.
afterlife.
All right. No, Jesus, that's very interesting there. Yeah, but okay, is there has there been any counts of the Grim Reaper being seen by anybody in not just Ireland but in the rest of the world?
So, not the Grim Reaper as we know it. With obviously the depiction that we're currently talking about is, you know, the full skeleton, scythe, cloak, you know, going around. But so there's many depictions all across the world. And like in Ireland, we have the Banshee, which would be, another depiction of the Grim Reaper. In England, they have the Black Dog of Death. Um, and around the world, so like in Greek culture,
Hmm.
it was uh, Hades. In the Egyptian culture, it's Anubis. So we've actually had a lot of people
Yeah.
like text into the page, like into Paranormal Adventures Ireland, with photos trying to get us to verify whether it's the Banshee. Now, can we speak to that? Absolutely not. You'd never know if it's the Banshee or not, like unless you saw it with your own eyes.
We actually have a video that was sent to us, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. So like there there
Yeah.
is like those sightings of like the likes of the Banshee and the likes of the Black Dog, but at the same time it wouldn't be the Grim Reaper
Hmm.
of like, skeleton, bone,
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I can remember myself, like when I first did the paranormal investigating myself years ago when I first started off. We did an abbey. You see, because I'm indoctrinated into the Catholic faith, all my family's Catholic. So I saw this figure at the end of my bed, and they were in a cloak. I didn't see the hand pointing at me, but it was thankfully there. But I recited the prayer there, the Lord's Prayer, and I just whether it was to do with sleep paralysis or anything like that, I don't know. Samantha, have you had any people come to you in the past about seeing like these maybe cloaked figures, and maybe even towards somebody's death?
Yeah, we've had something similar. Actually, Charleville has a dark shadow figure that people feel kind of drifts around behind them, and it'll step out of a
Okay,
shadow. So yeah, we've
right.
had a few weird ones too.
Right. And like so we know there's we know personally ourselves the Grim Reaper ourselves in our kind of culture there. But is there any kind of link, as you mentioned before, there's a few of them there like Hades and all that. Is there any other entities that strike more regard to you in mythology?
So I when I was in college a few years ago, I had to study Celtic civilization, and it
Hmm.
really brought everything about the Banshee and the Fae and everything throughout Ireland, all Irish mythology. So the Banshee is very close to my heart. Like very much, she's depicted as the woman on the back wall brushing her hair, and if you hear her scream, it'll be a case of someone you love is going to die. I've gotten really
Hmm.
interested in the idea of the Death Watch beetle as well recently, because so
Okay.
one of me and Mom's favorite movies is Practical Magic, and one of the quotes out of
Okay.
it is, if you hear the sound of the death watch beetle, the man you love is going to die. And I wanted to know, obviously, if there's anything to that, if there's anything to write home about it. So I did a bit of research into
Hmm.
it. And basically, it said that the death watch beetle likes old houses and old wood. So whenever
Hmm.
people were staying vigil in a house when somebody had passed away, you'd hear the tapping noise around the
Right.
house of these beetles,
Hmm.
particularly in older houses. And obviously
Yes.
that scared the hell out of people. But it was actually funny enough. That's the Death Watch beetle looking for a mate. So hilarious.
Okay, okay. It's interesting. Like the Beatles, there. Like I'm not talking about the band, but as you mentioned, the Beatles, there. As I suppose in Egyptian mythology, is kind of prevalent there. I suppose everyone's seen the movie The Mummy, where they see the
Yeah,
Beatles there. But yeah, as you said, like the knocking of the sounds of knocking as well, kind of resembles the three knocks, as I would say, knocking before a person dies. I
yeah,
don't know. There's supposed to be a haunting in McCarthy's Bar in Tipperary where there's knocking on the wall just before a relative dies there.
yeah.
I just got to go to a few shout-outs. Hey, Kathy, Paranormal Pathways Island. How are you doing, Kathy? Hope you keep Been well. Doug says, hello from across the pond. So Doug is from, I don't know, Aran Islands or Iceland or somewhere like that. I don't know. I'm only joking. It could be, I suppose, probably America there, you know. How you doing, Doug, there? Great to hear from you. And we have, how you doing, Louise? Hi, everyone from North East Paranormal. Yeah, if you're a member of any team or tourist attraction, feel free to name the team and your organisation. I will give a shout out to you as well. So, can you explain that, Caoimhe, this experience? I know you've had an experience there which was related to this sort of kind of the angel of death, as you would say.
Yeah. So we were actually about 2 years ago doing a paranormal investigation, a public in Wicklow Jail, and we were all on the ground floor, and everything was going. Actually, we were down in the basement, funny enough, and everything was going great. And I had the sudden urge to go up all of the flights of stairs to the very top floor. So I take off and go on my own to the top floor, walk up the stairs, happy days. And I'm there standing, and from where I got off the stairs, you can see right across the entire jail. And I'm just looking out, and it's grand, whatever. And the next thing I see this big, what I can only describe as a huge shadow figure, but instead of being normal human shaped, it had wings off its back. And I'm there and I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? And it grabbed onto the railing at the other side of the jail, grabbed onto the railing and threw itself down and like went flying down the whole way down the jail and disappeared. And I got such a fright that, so on one set of stairs in Wicklow Jail, it's all chained off. On the other set of stairs, you can get down fine. But me in my brain needed to get down all of the stairs as quickly as possible. So I ran down every set of stairs. And when I get to the bottom, I'd have to fling myself across chains to get out of it. And I realised I was slowing myself down. No matter what I was doing, I could not get across these chains. But I got down to the bottom and I'm there and I go to Mom and I go to Amy and Carlo and Joey and I'm like, guys, I don't know what I just saw. So they're like, oh, that's weird, that's strange, and blah, blah, blah. And we finish up the paranormal investigation and all's well, grand, happy days. And we're in the car on the way home and I decide to look it up because I'm like, what the actual hell was I looking at? Like, terrifying. And I looked it up. I could only find 3 stories online in total. And basically, one story said that you only see it if you're about to die. It's the angel of death. Another story said that they had seen it and, it's fine and yada yada. And I can't remember the last story because it was pretty much irrelevant at that stage. Because according to the first story, I was about to die, so I was terrified now. So I'm there, and obviously we have a friend named Jodie, absolutely wonderful woman, and I turn around because we were actually about to do a podcast with her, and I'm like, I have to bring it up to her. Like, I don't know what I saw, and like, I don't want to die. And so we get on the podcast, like literally, I think it was like a week later. We're talking to her, everything's going great. And I say it to her, tell her the whole story, tell her what's going on. And I'm like, I'm terrified, like I'm absolutely terrified at this stage. And she's like, no, Caoimhe, that's Azrael. And he was just there to bring spirits to either hell or heaven. And if you see him in white, he's bringing them to heaven. If you see him in black, then he's bringing them to hell. And I'm like, all right, so I can calm down now several octaves. I'm good. But she was like, yeah, that's a really cool experience because not many people see that at all. And like terrifying.
Wow.
all at the same time.
Also, if he's there to collect a soul person who's passing, he comes back and comforts the bereaved. So,
Okay.
mm,
That's an interesting thing. So the name of this kind of entity you got, was it called Asriel? Is that the name of the entity you said it was?
Yeah.
Asriel,
Archangel.
okay. Yeah, was trying. Yeah, I was trying to think of. I was trying to look up there, but I couldn't really find anything. What is this like Christian religion, or is it just like a culture? What religion is this again associated with?
So it can be
Was
associated
in
with the
or
Christian religion, but
mythology, or was it representation?
with Azrael, he's
Hmm.
not actually mentioned in the Bible or any Christian faiths. So funny enough, he's actually from Judaism, and he's known as the
Hmm.
angel of destruction. And basically, so according to some sources,
Okay.
it's him who brings bad spirits to hell, and it's Archangel Michael who will bring good spirits to heaven. And but according to Jodie, she said that it was him. If he's in
Hmm.
black, he'll bring them to hell, and if he's white, he'll bring them to heaven. So in all honesty, I still don't know. I know for almost as certain as I can be that it was Azrael, but I cannot say what he was doing there or anything.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is probably in a second there, I might just ask you probably just to go back on your phone again there, Quee, because I don't know if the connection is a bit too slow. It's a bit staggered there, you know. So Amy says, she says, I remember the investigation very, very well when you were seeing the thing with wings.
Yeah, yeah, that's from that
And
investigation.
also Louise says, Louise, Louise says, oh, was that one of the brothers in Lucifer? All right. Yeah, maybe I've. It's kind of a resemble. I can it sort of triggers my mind there. You know that name there. Um, yes. So, but maybe if you could just, I don't know, Samantha. Do you feel like the lads it's just a bit staggered there with the visual? Just one second before we carry on.
Which bit?
Can you see and hear me, Samantha?
Yeah, yeah.
So can you? Yeah, we're all good. I'm just saying this if we can. I don't know if anyone can hear us there, can see us. Just say the connection's a bit bad there because I don't know if it's the internet is slow as well. It could be just the weather. I don't know. Jonathan says hi. Hi from Fermanagh. How you doing, Jonathan? Yeah, I think the internet's a bit slow at the moment. It could be myself there, my end. Um, Anyway, so folks, before we go and move on to the next subject, we've got two couple of subjects coming up. We have talking about Lady Harriet in a second, but before that all, I'm going to call out or get a winner for a person to take part in our competition. And so here it is. We're going to pick one from this little jar here. Mary says, all sounds good. Well, that's good. And Mary, great stuff. Your name has come out of the pot first. So you have a chance if you stay on to go and win some cash and put your name in the Halloween mega draw. So that's Mary Nolan from Back in Time Paranormal Investigators. We'll pick another name. Here we go. We'll pick another two. Kathy as well. Stay on if Mary goes away. And Ursula, who just got her name and naming. Well done, Ursula. From our last guest from the other show, may have a possibility there if the other two previous don't get in. Bridget says from Eyes of the Afterlife. Hi, Anthony and all. How are you doing, Bridget? So I think everyone can hear us, and we're not too bad there. Then okay, we'll carry on. So the next subject we're going to talk about is Lady Harriet there. So from Charleville Castle. So Samantha, can you tell us who was Lady Harriet?
So Lady Harriet Bury is the second daughter of the third Earl and Countess of Charleville, and she died a very sad death at Charleville and went on to become one of the most famous spirits attached to a castle or a haunted home in Ireland. She's the stuff of legend, so she is.
And can you inform us to how Lady? I know you mentioned that she had a bad death. Can you just tell us what happened on the lead up to her death, as in what you know of there? How did she die? Unfortunately.
Yeah, so to be honest, the whole history of the third Earl and his family is incredibly sad. He marries for love. He marries Arabella Louisa Case, and they go on to have 5 children together. And his wife dies first, and then 2 years later he dies, and so the children are all orphaned now and living with their uncle Alfred and his wife Emily. And
Hmm.
it's 2 years after that, on the 3rd of April 1861, Harriet, her younger brother John, and baby sister Emily were in the library, which is at the bottom of the staircase at Charleville, and she was sent on her own by the governess upstairs to the nursery to wash her hands. And the nursery, for anyone who's
Hmm.
never been to the castle, is of course on the very top floor of the castle, because in those days you kept your children out of sight and out of mind of the public. So on the very, very top
Hmm.
floor, she goes up 4 flights of stairs, she washes her hands, and she starts to come back down the stairs for dinner. And the story goes, or her obituary goes, that she decided it would be really good fun to slide down the banisters of her staircase. And she would just have so much fun doing that. And she was let come down on her own as well. So there was no staff member with her at the time. And so she got onto the baluster. And Charleville Stairs is a cantilever staircase which wraps round. And it is beautiful. But unfortunately, she fell from the level just above where we would stand in the hallway. And she fell a distance of 10 to 15 feet onto the flagstone floor below, and she died from the impact of the fall. So she left quite the echo at the castle, and it's an incredibly sad passing for her.
And as you said, it was 2 years. So it was 2 years. Her mother died first. Was it two
Mother
two
dies.
years, and then it
Yeah,
was her father, and then
yeah,
2 years the father dies, and then 2 years she died. Was that? I
yeah,
think was it like that? Yeah, it's so sad. Um,
yeah. And
well,
then
what was life like for the other siblings, like afterwards, and for the generations of the Berry family? So, for the siblings first.
yeah, it wasn't good. So Alfred, the brother, sorry, Alfred is their father's brother, their uncle, and he
Hmm.
steps in because their eldest brother Charles, all the earls of Charleville are Charles, so it's really confusing. So you have Charles 1 to 4 until you get to Alfred. And so Charles, their elder brother, who would go on to become the fourth Earl of Charleville, wasn't actually of age at that point. When their parents died, all of the kids were under 10. So they had to wait till he turned 21 to inherit the titles and the land and everything else. So in the interim, Alfred
Hmm.
stepped in and he ran the place, but there was years there with no Earl. Now, Alfred and his wife, Emily, loved the kids like their own. They had none of their own. So they all but adopted them
Right.
into the family. And for the younger kids, they were only 5 and 3 when their parents died. So it would have been all they knew. But in that
Hmm.
time, a lot of tragedy happened to Charleville. And so
Hmm.
11 years after Lady Harriet fell, her younger brother John was 17 and he passed away at the castle. Now, this one is a bit of an odd one. We think John was, unfortunately, he had some sort of special needs that they obviously
Okay.
didn't track back then.
Hmm.
And so he passed away at the castle. And the reason we think that is, number one, in how his spirit comes true, but also his parents had left provision for him that was just unusual for the time. They'd left him a townhouse in Dublin, a
Hmm.
nurse for his care, and
Okay.
£5,000 a year. And this was from a family who you went into the military. The Burys were very military based as a family. So it was just odd how that one, and his tiny little obituary in the newspaper, I think it took me 6 years to find a mention of John. And it's this just 2 or 3 lines that John Bury had passed away at the age of 17 at Charleville Castle. And that's it. It's like he was written out of it. But it was the next tragedy to befall them. And then after that, 2 years after that, Charles IV turns 21, and they have this massive celebration. And there's so many articles in the newspaper about it. And they have a party, and they get a band, like like a marching band, and the band is made up of so many members that it reaches from Charleville Castle's front door to the town of Tullamore. So it's just this massive long procession. And they have a week of balls between the castle, the main ballroom of the castle, and there's some downtown, and it's a whole big thing. But after that, about 6 months after that, he reports starting to feel very unwell. And so they decide they're going to send him on a holiday for his stress at 21. And he starts heading kind of south, Brazil, down that way. And then he starts to become quite unwell again. And so somehow they end up bringing him to Staten Island in New York. And that's where the ship harbors up, and he goes to stay with somebody he met in Eton in school when he was in Eton College in England. And unfortunately, within a week of landing in America, the 4th Earl at the age of 22 passes away from stomach problems. So with less than, I think he gets just over the year as the 4th Earl of Charleville before he passes away. And this is where people say that the title is cursed, because Alfred, the uncle who had stepped in to raise them, was the last living member of the Bury family at that point, the last male living member. And he inherits the title. And unfortunately for Alfred, it might be cursed because he gets 8 months with it before he dies too. And there dies the earldom of Charleville. So it's a sad history that's kind of Harriet's right in the middle of. But there's just these years of passings and death, and it's just such a sad thing. And of her siblings, only her eldest sister Catherine survives, and she marries into the Hutton family. And then baby Emily, the youngest of them all, she marries Colonel Howard, and they become the Howard Burys in order to take over Charleville. And they're the Charles Howard Bury, who's connected to Belvedere. So that's the...
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, because that's the military side comes in that side as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And, I'm sorry now, I've said the name wrong. It's Bury, not Berry.
Bury.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Bury.
Sorry.
B-U-R-Y, Bury.
Perfect there. Yes. So... yeah, it's. I'll come to people's statements in a minute. There, does obviously you mentioned about the life and the death of Lady Harriet. Can you tell us if there's a ghost associated with her, with the property?
Yes. So she's probably the most talked about spirit at Charleville Castle. She is the stuff of absolute legend and some people's nightmares. I personally have never had a problem with Harriet, except maybe when she's being a little bit outrageous. So a couple of years ago, friends of ours from Australia, they're Adelaide Haunted Horizons, they came to visit us, and they brought something that none of us had kind of included in our kits at the time, which was these cat balls that light up when they move. And so they brought one of these with them, and they promised Harriet that they would leave it for her if she interacted with it. So lo and behold, they put it on her staircase, and it started to move, light up, happy days. Everyone was excited. And so they left me the ball for Harriet. Now, that picture that you're actually looking at there now, that's the very top of Harriet's staircase. And right behind you as such, the door that's behind your back taking that photo is actually the door to the nursery. And the nursery is kind of
Okay, yeah.
a place that we leave for the kids, that, you know, that's it, that they can go. We don't investigate it so much anymore. You know, it's their safe space. So I had
Yes.
the ball brought up there, so that they could play with it without alarming the members of the public, who I know, you know, in our in our, you know, hobby, we want to talk to the ghosts, but there are normal people who come to Charleville for a normal person tour, and they don't want to be touched or felt or inappropriately have feelings.
Yeah.
So we had it put up there, nothing more of it. About a month passes, and I'm in the middle of a tour, and I'm just finishing it up. I'm at the bottom of Harriet's staircase, and Nadine, my cousin, who's also a member of the team, she was standing behind this tour group. She's my tail when we do tours. And so she keeps an eye. She looked at me and I looked at her, and we both had heard this rustle noise. We're like, what was that? And so from up here at the top of the stairs, you can hear bump, 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 bump. And I'm like,
Right.
what was that? And then you hear this roll. Now, bearing in mind, right, there's one flight of stairs down there now, and then it hits a corner, and then it goes a flat landing, right? So it's not like it's
Okay.
the staircase is like each step of stairs. There's flat
Yes.
landings on this thing, right? This
Yes.
ball launched itself down 2 flights of stairs and 2 landings, straight into the crowd of normal tourists that I had at the bottom of the stairs. So people were, we'll just say, alarmed. Okay? They finished up the tour. Nadine had to escort some people out the door. They didn't want to stay and finish. And so we were kind of like perplexed by this, but it took us about an hour afterwards. We realized that the battery in the ball was dead. So it had obviously been on and moving all that time, and it was lit up. And so thought nothing of it. We brought it downstairs to the volunteers' kitchen. I put it away thinking we'll throw it out now, whatever. And the next day we were doing another tour, and we were in the dining room this time. And I'm in the middle of talking about Peter's painting, actually. And the next thing I hear, this wojus bang and something rolling round inside the bowl. There's this silver bowl at the time on the dining room table. And all you can hear is, whoo-hoo, whoo-hoo.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that? And so Nadine went over for a look, and here was the ball. And I was like, what the hell? Okay. So finished up the tour. I said to Nadine, we're going to have to throw on Spirit Box here or something. We need to talk to this kid. She obviously wants something. We can't have this happening all the time. What's going on? So they have gotten quite adept at using the technology. They know their stuff. Like they'll talk through a Spirit Box.
Right.
She loves Ghost Tube. And so she communicated to us, ball broken, fix. And I was like, okay, we can't fix this. You can't take them apart and stick a new battery in it. And I was like, okay. So I had to then tell this 8-year-old child in spirit that she was going to have to wait 3 weeks while I ordered one from Hong Kong. And that was quite the conversation. Anybody had heard us talking to this child. And the response back was, oh, no. I was like, okay.
Right.
So every week we're up there, and I'd put on the Spirit Box, and you'd hear ball. And I'd be like, oh, baby, no, not yet. Like maybe 2 weeks from now. And you'd be in the middle of something, ball. And you're like, oh. And you felt so bad. So eventually they did come. The balls came, but not before she got quite fed up with us. In the middle of a tour, she dropped it into the back of my hood on my hoodie. And then the last incident was wedding photos in the ballroom. So picture it now.
Right.
This bride and groom is in our ballroom, in their finery, okay? And this ball materializes out of the corner of the wall and just rolls across the floor in front of them. And we're just standing back, like, supervising it. We all heard it roll, and we were like, woo! And we were trying to grab it with the floor. I was like nudging Nadine, going, grab it. And they were like, what was that? And I was like, nothing. It was nothing. I don't know. Probably one of our cats. So
it's like, I suppose it's like this scene out of the Ghosts, the series, like, you know, the Ghost comedy series, like
I
stuff
swear it's
happening
something
around,
like
but
that.
trying to keep it down, you know. But I've got to come to the pictures as well. The pictures that you saw
Oh
the
yeah.
shadow, which was featured in Spooked Ireland in a second. I'll come to that in a minute, Samantha. Shelley, have you and you yourself, Queen, have you had experiences there at Charleville Castle
We have
with the ghost of
indeed.
Harriet?
Um, the clown, you can tell Anthony there.
Oh, well, so the last time that we were in Charleville was for a paranormal event. It was for a charity event with Ghostbusters Ireland, and
Yes.
basically we decided to send in Damien on his own to Harriet's staircase. And Harriet all evening had been loving Mam's clown. Mam had brought this proper clown that like you could wind up and it plays music. And she'd been loving this clown all evening. And basically we sent Damien in, and Damien lasted all of how long? 4 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was about that.
4 minutes on his own. But with the fact, now in fairness, she wasn't too much around, but she was absolutely talking through ghost tube at the time, being like chatting and away to him. She was like, the door's closed, and he was like, well, that's an excuse. The child doesn't want to be in here with the door closed, so I'm going to go and get somebody else. And he got Amanda, and Amanda went back in, and the funniest thing happened, which was we caught a massive fart on live stream.
Oh,
The
okay.
fart of the ages. It was brilliant. So, yeah.
So Harriet was very good that night because we had said, Harriet, please, it's for charity, it's a fun night. If you're in the mood, will you please give Damien a little scare for us? So it worked.
I know it's a great show, and I suppose like kind of those emotions and laughter and all that. That we don't want to be shouting out like giving aggravation to any spirits that are there as well. Especially if it's supposed to be children's spirits as well. You have to still have to watch your language as well. You have to have some sort of respect there. I'm just going to just a few statements there. Mary says, investigated Charleville a number of times, and Lady Harriet always comes through. I have the greatest respect for her. I think that this is what Louise thought after the story that you gave there about how she died, a tragic death there. And Mary says, lovely to see Charleville Castle in the series Wednesday season.
Yes.
Wednesday, yes. There's one episode's come out so far. Is it the second season, isn't it? There's only one so far.
It's
Episode
4
so
episodes of the second season that's out now.
Yeah.
All right, okay. They haven't put it up on YouTube yet. That's why. That's what I'm getting. So, I haven't got Netflix. I've been trying to get off YouTube there, like so. Bridget says, "So sad." I know that's the story there. Does Mary says, does the name Bernard mean anything to you? He's come through a couple of times and he's not overly pleasant. Um, would you recognise that name there, Samantha?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's probably Mr. Bernard, or Bernard is how it was pronounced in certain points as well. He's deeply unhappy because he was, I guess, like the butler of Charleville at the time of the second Earl, and his wife was the housekeeper, and she ran away with the 40-year-old gardener. Okay. So, small chance that could be why he's deeply unhappy. There's also a butler that's seen on that side of the castle. So I've often wondered, was it him?
Yeah. That's not good news, especially if you run away with the wife and you still got the garden to do afterwards. Sorry, that's a bad joke, I mean. That's like, I'll go away. Louise says, sorry, no, I can't get to that. There was a lot of going on the poor family. Yes, it's kind of tragic there. the lives, the siblings and the generations of the family there. Kathy says, great story. Sorry now, folks, if it's a bit slow, I can't get the comments aren't coming up as quick. It might be just slow there. Ursula says she just watched the first episode of season 2 of Wednesday. It's there. Okay, the comments are coming up now. Perfect. We're just talking about what you got. I've got this kind of picture here. I'm going to show it here. That you took there. It was featured in Spooked Ireland. Is it? What's Samantha the picture? And
It's
I'm
the
going
one
to
at the
show
ballroom
now.
doorway. That one.
Here. Yeah, and there's just like a shadow towards the left. People can see it now there. Hopefully, people can see it. Who do you think that figure is? Would it be Lady Harriet?
Well, now, Anthony, that's a very good question. So, what would you say, gut instinct, is that a little girl or a little boy?
Well, it'd be hard to. I would say if it was a figure, I don't know if it was like. Could it be? I'm thinking like, but boys or girls would have like the boys would have longer hair back in that time there as well. I would probably say, well, my eyes aren't really too good there, but I'd say it was probably a boy.
Yes. So 99.9% of people, when asked that question, will tell me that they feel it's a boy. And if it is a boy, then it's most likely to be Henry Walter, who was actually Lady Harriet's uncle. And he was just 7 years of age when he died. Now, Henry's an interesting one for us paranormal people because he didn't actually die at the castle. He died in their London townhouse in, obviously, the UK. And he died in, I think it was 1830. So it's a time where there's Spanish influenza in London and also cholera. And Lady Catherine, the very first Countess of Charleville, who was this absolute matriarch within the family, she brought his body home from the UK and she buried him in the family vault in Tullamore town. So the matching church to Charleville is St. Catherine's Church. Down on Hop Hill in Tullamore town. And obviously, like all big families, they have a vault underneath the church, and all of the Bury family members were laid to rest in there. So Henry was interred in the vault alongside all of his brothers, sisters, and cousins, and a little plaque went up on the wall in the church for him. But it's nearly like he followed his grandmother home to Charleville, and he has been seen running around the castle with Harriet, his partner in crime, for quite a few years now.
Yeah. So sorry. No, you're just saying. So are they from two different? Maybe it's her uncle, but they're from two different time periods, or were they the same age growing up? I mean, I just missed that there. Sorry.
He died 30 years before her.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So. Yeah, sorry. So they're kind of like they've been seen together. Is that what's been seen as well?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, they're seen together. They will respond together.
Oh, wow.
You can be talking to a child at Charleville, and people always assume it's Harriet, and then it'll go, not Harriet, it's me, and you're expected to know. Oh, wait, now that's Henry.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go on to this next bit there. So, have you had any paranormal groups come in and try and cleanse or try and move on the spirit? Have they said they're going to try and do it, or what's your reaction to that there?
Here we go again.
Sorry.
I have had Harriet tell an American paranormal investigator to fuck off, which I assume is a sentence she's learned from us, because it came through the spirit box like, fuck off.
Very kind.
And he turned to me with such conviction. And he was like, did that just tell? And I was like, yes, it did. And
There
to
you go.
other people, she'll say, this is my home. If she doesn't like it, she'll tell you to get out. And one very young team, they were actually from a college years ago. They were documentary film students, and they all picked a subject to, like, they had to help each other film as their finished project. And one of them picked the paranormal. And I think I have the documentary somewhere, but there was 3 of them, and so they're meant to help each other out on their movies. And so they came to Charleville, and they decided to sit at the bottom of her stairs and sing to her. And they asked, like, they had an audio recorder, and they actually asked, Harriet, would you like us to sing to you? And her response that was caught on the audio recorder is, if you have to. And they came out there so fast, and they were crying, and I was like, what's wrong? You okay? And then she was like, if you have to. And I was just, oh God. So she's.
I know sometimes I listen to people sing, "I get some rest," or you just don't want to hear it,
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's good. I have a sort of daughter like that. She's very kind of sassy, as they call it, as in she's very she'll be a comedian when she grows up, which would be great there. Caoimhe and Shelley. So obviously, do you interact with Harriet then when she's obviously you've interacted with sort of Harriet there? Is there any other entities or spirits that you've found there that you've come back to Samantha with information and it's like, oh wow?
Yeah, there was one evening we were there doing an investigation. It was just ourselves. And literally myself and Amy were just walking back in from outside. Carlo, Joey and Caoimhe were in the main hall. And myself and Amy just stopped, and we could literally see a white orb literally floating across the hall and disappearing through a door to the right-hand side of the castle as you walk in the door.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Sam, yeah?
Yeah, it's the dining room. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were there we're looking at each other going, did we just see that? Did you see that, Amy? Yeah, I did. Did you, Shelley? Okay, so the 2 of us saw it. So we did see it. Yeah. So that was fine. We sort of left it and we headed up into the library. And as we were walking into the library again, Amy was beside me and I think Sam was behind us. And I turned around and said something. I can't even remember how it came about, but I remember the fact that we thought it was something to do with a butler that came up going into the library. And then it was later on that evening when we came back down, I said, I wonder, did that have anything to do with the library, with the orb that we saw? And Sam was going, what did you see? And we explained it to her and she said, oh yeah, that's the same one that's been seen before. Yeah. So that for us was huge, especially to see something like it was so, give me the word. It was like you could reach out and pick it up.
Wow.
Of this orb. Do you know what I mean? It was,
yeah. It's interesting, like the phenomena that happens, it's, I suppose, like people would say it's going to be like ball lightning. It could be just a figure. It could be just something that you've all conformed to see. Maybe you all saw it in your mind. It's actually there, which is interesting in paranormal itself there as well. Do you believe, Samantha? Come back to you about Lady Harriet. Had she got a type of frequent identity, Lady Harriet? What does Is she got long hair? Is she dressed in particular clothing? Is she particular shoes or holding something?
Yeah. So there's the nonsense way that people say she looks, and then there's the real way. So a couple of years ago, somebody put out that she was this blonde, ringleted little girl in a puffy dress that's blue. And but the reality is none of the Buries were blondes. They had dark to auburn hair, and her hair is actually very dark auburn. So I use that as a filtration system for when we get in the psychics. And so if you regurgitate to me the blonde curly thing, I'm going, So you Googled it. Whereas when people say to me she has dark hair and it's kind of like there's a red to it, and I'm going, okay. So
Yeah.
she's often seen the blue dress is a big thing. I hear that all the time. And
Yeah.
occasionally there's a mention of a cat, but we have a
Yes.
lot of living cats and a lot of cats that have passed and are definitely still around for sure, because weird stuff happens all the time that you're kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I remember the time you did a paranormal investigation on a public event, and I attended it there. It was like the feelings of dogs going past, or like
Yes.
pushing the legs very quick. Like somebody, it's like that kind of thing where your legs got to give way because the dog just come in and got
Tipped
you
off
by the
you.
back. Yeah. It's there would be. I know it might sound a bit strange. Has there been any? Did it's the Biories, is it
Yuri.
the
Yeah.
family name? Is it what was it?
Yeah.
So it's not Biories. So, did they
You're
have
okay.
any unusual pets? Did they have any unusual pets that you may have known of?
Well, the first Earl had a dog called Tippo, and Tippo suffered with
Okay.
gout. And the reason we know about Tippo is because he wrote to a doctor, a human doctor for humans in England.
Mm,
Now, can you imagine this in the early 18th century, right? So he writes to this doctor to
yes.
ask for a treatment for gout for the dog. And he loved Tippo. So, like, he was
Mm,
kind of, from what he wrote in his letters, he seems to be a little bit of a terrier. So mostly
mm,
it's quite normal pets till you get to Colonel Howard Bury, who was, of course, the owner of Belvedere.
okay.
And he very famously
Yes.
had a bear as a pet that he called Agu.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Uh,
him and his life partner Rex Beaumont, they had
mm.
a snake that was a pet as well that they kept in the house in Tunisia. And when the snake died, they had matching slippers made from him.
Oh Jesus! As you do. Well, it
As
continues
you do,
on.
as you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comfort.
I don't know what you do with your snake,
Comfort.
but it's what I do with mine.
God, I don't think I'll live with something. Anyway, we'll go move on. Sorry, this could go better. This could go very bad there. Mary says they can bug off. I think that's what Lady Harriet says. I hate it when teams go in wanting to move spirits. Same thing used to happen at Loftus Hall. Yes, it's kind of if like it's a home, and I don't know myself personally. I don't have the power to move any spirit on. I don't know how you do it. What is it? Like, who's to say that there is a door there that I'm banging some spirit up against a door that can't go anywhere if I'm doing some sort of cleansing or exorcism, Um, uh, Louise says, laughing out loud, Mary, you're right there. That's to do with the bog off kind of thing. So we're going to be talking about the Irish Para Unity meeting now in a second there. So, but first of all, yes, sorry, the competition, Mary. How you doing, says Mary Nolan. For back in time, how you doing, says, can you give me a number between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12? Can you write down a number between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12? So a number between 1 and 4, 5 and 8, and 9 and 12. If you're there, Mary. So we're going to talk on about another subject. I'm going to be bringing in I think it's Joey, if he's on there. Joey, if you're watching there, you can come in now there. So we're going to be talking about the Irish Para Unity meeting, which is said to be taking place in November there. First of all, Shelley, you told me about it first there. In your own words, can you describe what Para Unity is?
Basically, the paranormal community coming together, being supportive of each other, you know. Can you hear
And
me?
what made you? Yeah, I can hear you there, Shelley. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No. That's it. Yeah.
And what made you decide to set up this gathering? So it's about bringing people together. But what made you decide personally yourself? We're going to come to other people that
Yeah.
have put out their concerns or thoughts
Yeah.
shortly. But
So
what
basically,
was your reason?
how it came about was the night that we were doing the fundraiser in Charleville with Ghostbusters. We were having a great night, and at the end of it, we're just all sitting around having cups of coffee, chilling after the entire night and what's not. And we just started chatting about what was going on, and um, what came up in topic was myself and Samantha started discussing stuff that was going on in the States within the paranormal community. And basically, we'd noticed
Hmm.
that there was a lot of posts, just quite no problems with it, going up on Facebook where they were arguing with each other in front of everybody. And we're going, what's going on like over there? Do you know? So we're going, God, that's mad. And we're going,
Hmm.
why would you not support each other? Like, we are people that have the exact same hobby, the exact same passion, the exact same love for the paranormal and, this sort of thing. Why would you not support each other? So then the topic of conversation moved on. We were talking about youngsters that are trying to get into the paranormal here in Ireland at the minute. And Samantha
Hmm.
started talking about, how, well, I'll let you take over there, Sam.
So when all of us were coming up at it, there was very few people to give us direction or to say, this is how you treat and respect a heritage building. And I think the new generation are too
Hmm.
heavily influenced by clickbaity nonsense. And Lord, if I hear anything more about demons, I might actually cry. So to bring together a group of people with years of experience between us all, to be able to be somewhere people can say, well, what do you think of this, or what do you think of that, without tearing each other apart over something, is just, I think it's a valuable resource. I would have appreciated it when I was first getting into it, somewhere to send maybe a photo or a video clip or an audio, or, even to suggest, Lord knows all of us have enough equipment between us to investigate the Queen Mary. So,
Yeah.
like, to be
Hmm.
able to give guidance and things like that for the new gen coming up in all aspects of it, and to be a safe place for me anyway, that like you can come without us judging you, like we might have a laugh and a joke with it, but it's not in a judgment mean sort of way. And I think that's where it needs to come from as well. We're a very small community of people who do what we do, and we should all be there to help each other. And like, as I've said it to Shelley, she'll tell you I've said this multiple times, nobody's getting rich off this, lads.
No.
All right. Like, nobody's going to be the next
Hmm.
Irish Zach Baggins. Calm yourself. There's no need for like some of the stuff that goes
Yeah.
on. And I see the same in America. My
Hmm.
God, like it's
Hmm.
an expensive hobby that we
It
all
is.
need to,
Yeah.
get along with.
Hmm. And,
Mm.
and I suppose people that are going to be watching here, there, and they're part of Irish paranormal teams, obviously, and they're probably wondering there, like, is this going to be like a regular event? Is it going to be like, say, every maybe once or twice a year, maybe, or something? This meeting. Can you tell us where it's going to take place, anyways? Would you be able to tell us that, Caoimhe?
So the plan is we are going to go live in Charleville Castle in November. Um, there is 6 teams. So yourself, Anthony, Samantha's team. There is us. There's Northeast Paranormal, Otherworldly Paranormal, and Ethereal. We're really excited to do it
Yeah.
with all of the teams. Like we've we haven't gotten the chance to work with you, Anthony, so that's really exciting. And we haven't gotten the chance to work with Northeast, and that's also really exciting because at the same time we're all bringing in new things for each other to discover. So it's something really exciting about it.
Yeah, yeah. And also there's a couple of new teams that are
and like
actually mentioned.
yeah, I think I think Ethel Paranormal Caoimhe as well from Ethel Paranormal is going to be there as well. I was going to say, I know people probably interested. So, would you? Is it okay for people to come to you if they've got any problems or concerns in the future, maybe to come to a future event or something like this in the future? Would you be thinking of holding another one?
Ideally, we're here this November. A paranormal investigation will be our first and our complete experiment, so that we can all see how we gel together and how everything goes. And then from there, it's the next step and the next step and the next step. So we just have to see how it goes first, because it hasn't really been done,
Yeah,
you know?
we all want to learn from each other as well and see different ways of investigating and different ideas and what's not. So, and basically move on from there. But in the meantime, absolutely, if anyone is having any hassles or if they have any questions or they're starting a new paranormal team, there is no problem whatsoever with contacting Phoenix Files or us, Paranormal Adventures. And what we can do is, if I don't have an answer, if our team doesn't have an answer, we can go to our, I suppose, the other 4 teams that we're currently working with and put the question to them. And I mean, between 19, 20 of us, someone is bound to be able to come back. But one way or the other, we're there to support and help and guide. And, nobody is
Left behind.
No one's left
Yeah,
behind.
it's a great idea. It's a great. Well, I'm going to. No, what's the thing is, it's a great outlet for people. They haven't got anything at the moment. If there's any meetings and all that there, it's a great outlet for people that want to come to learn stuff there, to actually talk about what's happening in the paranormal field personally, if they've had any grievances or anything bad happen to them as well. Not just to do with the learning or the research purposes, but outside of it as well. It's a great way of, connecting with people as well, and just letting out they're not alone as well, so they can talk as well, which is, it's a voice as well. We're going to show a video shortly of a few people that have had some problems in the past within the paranormal field. Just to Mary's statement first. Mary says, sorry, no, but my mouse isn't working. It's a bit slow. It could be the internet on this side there. So 1 second. Yeah, as Kathy says, you need a ticket for the special invitation to get into the Power Unity meeting.
Well, like we said, it's the first step, so it's a brand new venture, basically. But in the meantime, like we say, if you need any help or, at setting up other investigations or whatever, we're there. We're really happy to help. And further down the line, we do hope to broaden it a bit. So we just have to play it by ear, Anthony.
Yes, yeah, it's you could have a convention about it there, but it's you need to want to listen to some people's voices, but we just don't know what's down the line anyway. But anyway, I won't say. May says, I'm 12 years investigating and can honestly say there's an incredible amount of gaslighting, bitching, and downright nastiness going on. Absolutely no need for it. We are all here to enjoy, learn, and partake in a hobby. Also, Kathy says, definitely a lot of power wars about. Definitely no need for this at all. Louise says we'll have a lovely time there. And Amy says from Paranormal Adventures Ireland, teamwork is very important. There's no rule book on how to do paranormal investigations. I think all teams have different style and everyone can learn new things. And Louise says that's it, Amy. Everyone has their own experiences, understanding, and techniques. It's a great way of I suppose this is a little community there because it's the people that are going to be attending this. There's a good few people that have had a lot of hard times recently there. I'm actually going to show a video there. This is about 8 minutes long. Going to shoot to Damien and also Louise and also Quiver. So this is their voice, this is their experience of what Para Unity is so far, or hopefully where they hope for it to go in the future.
Hi everyone, it's Louise here from Northeast Paranormal Ireland. Anthony's very kindly asked for my 2 cents on what is Para Unity and what it means to me. So to me, Para Unity should revolve around respect, number 1, mutual understanding and collaboration. So respect that everyone has their own understanding, beliefs and ideologies. Respect that everyone has their own techniques and their own methods when it comes to the paranormal. Respect that everyone in the community has their own personality and style. Respect a person's right to privacy. Respect and understand that everyone isn't going to see eye to eye and that you're not going to be liked by everyone. But you know what? It's okay. And Para Unity is about uniting us all, putting our rivalries, egos and differences to the side, because the main goal is for us to concentrate on what is the paranormal.
Hi everyone, it's Kiva from Ethereal Paranormal here. What Para Unity means to me is the acceptance and the support that is shown between teams, whether that be through teaching or being taught or anything simple as that. To me it just means supporting one another, cheering other teams on and just really being one big paranormal family.
Hi, my name is Daniel Dunnigan and I am one of the lead paranormal investigators in Otherworldly Encounters Ireland. I'm also a sensitive, I have a range of different abilities. Me and my team have had some pretty bad experiences with a certain individual in the paranormal community who is well known, has been on TV shows or whatnot, who has relentlessly tried damaging the reputation of me personally and my team. This person has had acquaintances I know turn against me and also try and blacklist me from locations and with investigators and all that for absolutely no reason. This person has sent me abusive messages, calling me every name under the sun. I've had threats of people wanting to come to my house, my home. It's just, really bad experiences. We try to just keep going and just try to ignore all the hate and just keep going doing what we're doing.
I have worked with a team in the past, and it was one of the first teams I'd ever worked with, who, looking back now, were just very dangerous in the way that they investigate it. Lacking knowledge almost. I don't think the team's up and running anymore, but it was just wasn't ran great. there was the lack of knowledge, there was the lack of support for other team members. If one team member wasn't comfortable with doing something, then the leader of that team would kind of been like, I don't care, you're doing it anyways, which is, we all know that's not right. Looking back now, I thought they were the greatest things ever, but obviously now I know better because I've worked with much better teams, and I hope if that team is still going, that they are willing to learn different techniques, and they are willing to learn from other teams, and I hope that they have stopped letting egos get the better of them. But yeah.
I think what would really help to improve the respect in the paranormal community would be to just work with each other and just, we're all in there for the same thing, and that is for the love of paranormal and the love of investigating and the love of these locations. And I think that should be more important than investigators trying to knock each other down and trying to ruin each other. It's completely pointless, and I think it takes away from the most important thing, and that's to investigate and to really see what's out there. And I think that's the most important thing.
One of the main ways I think that we could all work together as a paranormal community is by leaving the issues at the door. So you know yourself, when there's bad vibes within a group, it throws the investigation off and all that type of stuff. So I think one way we could all come together and work better as a community is whatever issues we have, leave them at the door and pick them up again on your way out.
How can we work together for more respect in the community? I think we can build more respect in the community by leading with empathy and curiosity, rather than competition. This means listening to each other's perspectives without immediately dismissing them, giving constructive feedback instead of criticism, and recognizing the effort people put in, even if their results or methods differ from ours. Collaboration on investigations, sharing knowledge freely and publicly, supporting each other's successes also go a long way. The best way for Para Unity to move forward is by us collaborating together, sharing what we found, what works for us, what didn't work for us. So by having mutual understanding and respect to someone is a huge, huge big thing that should be the main core of Para Unity and the reasoning for why we should have Para Unity in the first place. And the sooner we all open up our minds and accept that we're not on our own, that it shouldn't be a competition, the better I think it would be for the paranormal community.
Sorry, now I'm just trying to mic myself there, you know. So that was Daniel, and that was Louise. Daniel from Otherworldly Paranormal. That was Louise from Northeast Paranormal, and that was Caoimhe from Ethel Paranormal. And thank you to the three people who put their opinions in, and thank you for showing out, giving a voice, and actually saying out loud with that voice what their own experiences have been in paranormal field. Caoimhe mentions a point there as well. I don't know if you can probably add to this there. Caoimhe mentions a point that she joined the team, and she probably, and there is probably, I know it might sound a bit bad or kind of on the ego kind of side kind of things there, but if somebody's more into it, the paranormal kind of side, or more into that kind of those subjects, and they're joining a team that is kind of just laughing or just don't actually have as much knowledge as that person. Straight away, that person is going to probably want to go to another team after that or do their own thing. So there's going to be a sort of confrontation straight after that. Would you agree with that there, first of all, Quiver?
Yeah, I would. So with us being in paranormal adventures for as long as we have, we realized that we gelled when we realized that we could be serious and do the paranormal investigating and also have a great time with it, and like also laugh, because laughing at the when you're on an investigation and you laugh, a lot of times you're getting more, activity. But there is times to be serious. There is times where you have to cool it down and bring it back in, hone it back in. And like, I think what she said was spot on.
Hmm. And what do you think about that there? I'll come to everyone's statements there. I keep on mentioning statements, comments in a second there. But Shelley, what's your views on this there as well? So,
I'm
it's people like they're looking for to join teams. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm basically the same as Quiva. I find for our team, we're a very unique blend of people, and we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, but together we're very solid. So where one
Hmm.
would be jokey and laughy, another would be quite technical, and it all comes together and it all blends well. But that's for our team specifically. Like, so I couldn't speak for other
Hmm.
teams, but I know for us, with the very different personalities on our team, and I know it's two separate families, but we're after 5 years together, plus years before that, we're now literally one family. Do you know what I mean? So for us, it
Hmm.
works well. So I couldn't speak for others, Anthony.
And Samantha, what's your views on like kind of what's going on at the moment there? I suppose it's not being talked about much in the Irish paranormal community because we're kind of the forgotten kind of siblings, as you would say, compared to the UK and America. There, it does happen here, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah, for sure. And I think here as well, and I was saying this to the girls only recently, we don't have a lot of locations to investigate. So it tends to be a bit like a bunch of terriers over a few dog toys. And, if people
Yeah,
get bitchy, like I get bitchy comments all the time that I get keep Charleville. And, if I send you a couple of questions to answer so that I know what kind of team you are before you come in, I think that's fair enough, that I know that you're not going to get up to anything that we will consider dangerous. And, like the girl said, it
Hmm.
the best paranormal evidence I've ever captured is when we're doing something, having a laugh, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to edit this that I'm not capturing everything. I think the ghosts are like,
Hmm.
they're joining us, they're having the laugh with us, but also on a practical level, there is a time to be serious and pay attention to what you're doing and look where you're going, and engage in the right way of doing things. Everyone has their own techniques. Totally for that. I love to see new teams coming in who maybe pitch an idea that I'm like, oh my god, never thought of that. That's brilliant. Like, love to see it. But then you do occasionally get the dangerous stuff and the people who will take it too far. And like, it is just a hobby. Like, it's just something we're all meant to enjoy.
Hmm.
Yes, we're all interested to know what is next. Like, we're all at it for a reason. Um, well, I know I am
Hmm.
anyway, with the amount of money I've spent this year on paranormal equipment. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell the accountant. But yeah, it's like, I think find your people that you gel with, find your people, and talk, really have a conversation about like how they see it, because like I've been in the game since 2010, and I've seen so many different types of teams. The ones like Paranormal Adventures that are such a good laugh, so much fun, but like such a solid team behind it all. And then you get the ones that are
Mm,
super scientific. Okay. If it can't be measured on a piece of equipment, if nothing dings, then it's not real, didn't happen, and then you have the really spiritual
mm,
teams, who have
mm,
this wild experience, especially for me at Charleville. They come, they sit at the stairs, and the next thing you look, and these people are just, they're crying, or it's they have a huge experience. Any of the empaths out there. And so find your people, find the
mm,
people you gel with, and the type of investigator that
mm,
you are, that interests you.
mm,
If you're not someone who's scientific, you're going to hate that. That's not going to be your jam at
mm,
all. So find your people, and
mm.
that's the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's great. I suppose that's it. I suppose if there's any advice for anybody that may watch this back in the future that wants to go into the paranormal, firstly, look out, get research which team you want to go with, research how many investigations they do, where they go, um, other people on their team. Search the internet, see how they are. Like that'll be the truth about it. There, that'll really open up who you can or not work with, and then again, just do your own thing. Then that's the other thing. You don't have to join a team. You can do your own thing. Bridget says there will always be teams that are jealous and don't get on. Happens, and it should not happen. Uh, Mary says. Uh, Mary says, listen to Dr. Kieran O'Keefe or Steve Parsons. Knowledge is everything. Work on your craft. Share your findings, and never ever slate each other. Yeah, that's great there. I did have to get Dr. Kieran O'Keefe out of my team. He was a bit just messing around the place too much there as well. Steve Parsons as well. He's not a good team member for me. So,
No.
Steve, you're fine there. Kathy says jealousy is about the ego having to do the best or most. Notice this is not about the ego. This is about the genuine people with genuine interest in the paranormal. If you're in it for the ego, then you are not in it for proper reasons. That's true there, Kathy. There. Yeah, we've got to work together and try. Um, that's one way of collaborating. And I suppose one way that I suppose I see myself, I don't usually collaborate with many people myself because there's a few people in my team I like to just do the stuff with them as well there. But there's times when they can help other teams like this show and hopefully with other stuff in the future as well. But there's locations that I can pass on to other people and hopefully that's helped them in the past as well. Um, but that's just me biggering up my ego now going there. Sorry now. Louise says true, and she says when you are chit chatting, they look like they want to engage. I think they work off your energy that we bring. That's true. It sounds a great place to investigate. Bridget says it's Charleville Castle, and Mary says very refreshing to hear this tonight. Thank you, ladies. You have restored my faith. That's great. Sorry now, Mary, I couldn't do that myself. so, so, you didn't give me any praise there, Mary. Um, so, probably one last question there. Probably the thing is there's people that are probably out there that need. Would you say this is probably a very personal question there that they've got problems in the other ways of life that need help? Um, that they need kind of psychiatric help outside of the paranormal field. That there is people in the community in Ireland like this. I'll probably ask you, Samantha, there. No, you don't have to answer that question, or you can pass it on to Caoimhe and Shelley.
Well, here's the thing. When I first got into this, a psychic said to me that if you really want to experience a location, you need to go in blank, as in leave all your stuff in the car. So the fact that you're trying to pay the mortgage or put food on the table or you've had a shit week at work or, other that sort of stuff. So we all have stuff going on. I do think that, bringing it into the paranormal, which is probably not the best idea. and there's certain, energies within it that can thrive on you if you're having a bad week, and can bring out that side in people. So look, on a personal level, counseling is good for everybody. I think everybody should go. Everyone should go, talk out your problems, normal problems, paranormal problems. I'm sure there's a therapist out there somewhere who deals in, paranormal therapy. But like, yeah, I find for me, be level. If I go into Charleville with like stuff like just grey clouds, and I'll have a terrible night. But if I go in having cleared myself before I start, just ground my own self, I will have the best night. The best night. And because it's like I can hear them, they come through clearer. So for me, practically, that's very important. I don't know what the girls think there now, but
Just a clean, healthy frame of
As,
mind.
yeah,
So
as it said, that is a yeah. Sorry, carry on there. You're Shelley and Caoimhe. Do you want to carry on?
saying that you go ahead there, please.
I remember myself. God, I think it was about 2 years ago. You'll remember when I say it.
Okay.
But I remember I was extremely, extremely, extremely down in the dumps. And I turned around to Mum and I had to text the rest of the team, and I was like, look, I absolutely love doing paranormal, but right now it's not for me because I can't leave it at the door. So I'm going to take the next few investigations out and, get myself back together, and then I'll be back. And in all honesty, it was the best way of doing it, like in my personal opinion now, because at the end of the day, I did need to like screw my head on right so that I knew that when I went in there, I was as strong as I could possibly be, as mentally stable as I could possibly be, questionable. And completely protecting myself and making sure that I was going in and I could be safe, and that I wasn't causing anything for others in the group to be unsafe during an investigation. So, at the end of the day, you do have to be mentally healthy with this hobby completely.
True. Yeah. So you have to be aware, if you're a team leader or something like that, you have to be aware of other people in your team. You have to acknowledge what they're going through, and also don't get hot-headed if something happens to them, or if they want to leave your team because of your attitude or your the way you act around them, or the way you're a hurricane or tornado. Put that short. So anyway, sorry, Dr. Ursa says that is all crazy. Everyone should be working together. It really doesn't help the paranormal field. Great to hear about the Power Unity project. Yeah, it's a great idea. And hopefully there's more to come there. And stay tuned to Phoenix Files page and also Paranormal Adventures Ireland page, because they may have a little something coming up for everyone. I'm not going to say anything yet because they'll probably kill me off when we go off air. But anyway, Mary, my good friend Mary Nolan from Back in Time Paranormal Adventure. No, sorry, Back in Time Paranormal Adventures. Mary, this is it. You chose numbers number 4, 8, and 10. Here we go. Wishing you loads of success. This is astral travel. You're going to be doing out of body experience. Let's see how you get on. Maybe so win some money. What number did you pick? Number 4. You're in the prize draw. Well done, Mary. Now you've got another chance. Well done, Mary. Well done. So you've entered your name in the prize draw. Well done, Mary. You're the first audience member to put your name in the Halloween Mega Draw. Now let's see how we get on here. You picked number 8. Let's see. Good luck with this. What is hidden behind number 8? Oh no! Oh my God! Game over. Oh no. That's a pity. So, game over. Oh no. If it was another, it would have been better. Yeah, could have had the chance of entering either Samantha, Caoimhe, or Shelley into the Halloween Mega Draw. Let's just see what would have happened if you stayed in it. Number 10. What? Behind. You would have entered one of the lads. One of the guests. Oh, that's a pity. Oh no. There we go. That's astral travel, and put your name in that. Pressing here. So. Can you tell us where people can find you there, Shelley and Caoimhe?
We can be
Apart from
found
in your,
on
apart from in your kitchen. Sorry, go ahead.
on Facebook.
At Paranormal Adventures Ireland. We can also be found on Instagram, also under the same name, and on TikTok. So,
Gary Waters says a fix. Oh yeah, I think a lot of things like tonight. Thanks all. God bless you all, says Jonathan. And Samantha, where can people find Phoenix Files as well?
Yeah, so same as the girls, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on TikTok as well.
Perfect there. Yeah, so the next show we're going to on the next installment of the GhostÉire Channel, we'll have paranormal investigator, historian, heritage, and brand advisor Karine Besant on the show. Matters up for conversation include the paranormal consultant, the Jamaica Inn, and the Supernatural UK, which is now on YouTube, which people can see there after the show, obviously. It's good, Samantha, Caoimhe, and Shelley. It's been time has gone fast. I'm sorry if there's been any internet interruptions there, but hope everyone's fine. Gary says Mary's sending in the hands. We're all going to be after me there, but hope everyone's going to have a fine weekend. And thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Shelley and Caoimhe. I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near distance. Goodbye for now.
Yes.
You can wave, lads. Wave. Press stop. Okay. We are still on.